Hi there, Chris Conroy, Executive Vice President at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thanks for joining today's webinar program, CyberSense, Part 3, Tools and Resources. So appreciate all the independent advisors, agents out there that are joining us today. Good opportunity to hear about some great best practices here to protect yourself, your business, and also your clients. So, you know, here at IAMS, we're all about helping you, obviously, with your cases and how to build your business with marketing, but we're also here to make sure that you protect yourself, you protect your clients. So this series is really about advocacy. It's making sure can we give you tools to protect yourself, protect your clients, and what is really an emerging threat that affects really everyone, which is cybersecurity and the threats. So we're going to be talking about that. I know some of you on the program had a chance to dial in for part 1 and 2. So if you'd like to get a replay of that, you had a chance to see that, go back, call us, and we'll make sure we get you a link to that. But I'm pleased to introduce Misha Korkunov, who's our cybersecurity expert here. Misha, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Chris. As he already said, we're going to talk about practical tools and resources that independent agents like you guys can use to better protect your business and clients.
So we got a great program here. I know some of you I see on maybe are newer to IAMS, so I'm going to go through just a couple minutes about IAMS. If you're not familiar with us, we encourage you to take a look at us for your business on life insurance annuities. So let me go through that, and then we'll get into today's program. So first of all, we're very much a technology-forward company. So you see a lot of the e-app solutions. This is just the tip of the iceberg. New partnership with Luma. Luma is a means to take a look at not only the order entry system, but also your entire old book of business, anything you've ever sold, and help identify some opportunities for you with their life cycle managers. So we have that great technology. If you want to try to look at opportunities, for example, to refinance your annuities and understand your old book that you might have sold and where those are, that's something we can help you with. Firelight is a technology platform, obviously, for many of the annuity applications. Most every carrier has that. iPipeline, more on the life side, Sunfire, and then some other tools, electronic contracting, some of the other great financial planning tools like Retirement Analyzer as well. So there's just a lot of great things on the tech front to make your life easier, submit your business quicker, get paid faster. And moving on, key part of what we do that differentiates IAMS from virtually every other IMO out there in the marketplace is our excellence on creative services. And creative services is kind of a catch-all. We have an entire team in-house that's dedicated to take care of building your reputation, your brand, and get in front of more people. So obviously getting in front of more clients, staying in front of them, and nurturing that relationship is critical to what we do in this trust and like business. And so that's a big part of it. Just this is tip of the iceberg. We have over 30 lead generation programs. But if you're looking for a rebrand, refresh, you need help with digital marketing, you need help with social media, we have an entire team. Let us really put you out there on your payroll, on your staff, but not your payroll, so that we can help enhance your image in the marketplace. Here's some examples here. One big thing, the first step always is doing an in-depth free marketing analysis. So we'll do a deep dive into your business. We've been doing this with hundreds of other agents, advisors around the country, and take a look at what's working. Take a look at ROIs, what you're spending money on, what's been successful. You're looking at your target market, and many other in-depth tools to help identify if what you're doing makes sense or not, and try to get you in front of the right people. Wealth management. So we have a sister company, IAMS Wealth Management, an SEC registered RIA. So if you're 65 licensed, or you're interested in becoming 65 licensed, want to be a holistic advisor, we can help you. So that's a great opportunity. That's a continuing trend we're seeing in the marketplace, where many people are becoming 65 AUM managers. And it's a great way to retain clients, generate a consistent revenue stream, and partner. And we have a company that really partners the insurance with the wealth management, which is very different than anyone in the marketplace. Training and education. So making you the best that you possibly can and want to be is really important to what we've done. It's the fabric of IAMS, has been for over 20 years. We've been doing training academies. These are robust opportunities to really take your game to the next level. So if you want to see some of the most impactful marketing, creative services, lead generation type of programs we have, come to this program. If you want to learn from other, $10 million annuity producers or $500,000 target life producers, come to this academy. If you want to get sales ideas, you want to hear from some of the top carriers that we have partnered with that are going to be coming in, come to this academy. The next one is actually full. It's June 4, 5, 6 here in Omaha. But we can get you on the wait list for the next program. That'll be in August, and there'll be another one probably in September or October. We have a couple IUL specific academies that'll be coming up through the summer. If you're interested, just give us a call. There's the number, 800-255-5055. Talk to your sales director. If you don't have one, just ask for one. We'll make sure we get you lined up. These academies, they're all paid for. You just have to do a little bit of business, and it's a great way to really take your game to the next level. We got great incentive opportunities. We like to recognize our very best producers that are out there, and these are really modest, points to qualify for this trip. The next one of which is coming up here in Quebec City at the Chateau Frontenac, iconic hotel there in Quebec City. It's 5 million points to qualify, so that's over an 18-month period. Is really kind of a modest number in the industry. The beauty of this is it qualifies you not only for the IAMS trips, but those. We count everything. We count all annuity, all life insurance business, everything counts. And that can also qualify you for some of those carrier-specific incentive trips. So great way to network, great way to be recognized among your peers, and have it at a really nice location. So we have a great social media presence, Facebook, LinkedIn, our IAMSinc.com website. If you're not registered, go get registered. We'll walk you through that. But we appreciate you liking and follow us there. So let's get into Misha, CyberSense Part 3. This is actually the last of our scheduled programs to talk about cybersecurity. As we talk about, this is just a big issue. I think the number was like 1 billion people this last 12 months have actually had a breach of some sort. They may or may not know about it, but we thought this was such a big deal that we built this entire webinar series really to help agents. We thought about, well, they're out on their own a lot of times. They don't know. They might have a small agency, and we need to give us some practical tools. And so that's a little bit what we're talking about. I would encourage you all to also check out parts 1 and 2. But we got some great best practices, some pointers, some things to walk through, and an excellent opportunity with TransUnion to get a 68% discount on their credit monitoring program. So over to you, Misha.
All right, finally I get a chance to speak a little bit. It always takes a while, but again, I think it's a good thing that we're doing here because it's important to know. You might think that or you're protected, but by attending our webinars or self-educating, you are learning new things every day, and it's going to help you in the future to stay more protective and build your clients' trust. And let's talk about how you guys are independent agents and you wear many hats. Unfortunately, cybersecurity has become the most important one because it can cost thousands of dollars in legal fees. It can damage your reputation and even put your license at risk. That's why staying informed and prepared is crucial. And I have a quick question for you. Have you guys ever experienced anything in your independent practice?
Yeah,
like phishing email or maybe data breach or suspicious login? Here you will be able to answer this question.
Yeah, so we'll do a couple polls like this one. We encourage everybody, go ahead and answer because it helps us get some feedback on, other advisors just like you, and we'll get some of the answers back. It looks like, have they had a cybersecurity incident? That's across the board, Yeah.
Well, if you've experienced something like phishing email, that's pretty common because, as we said before, this is the most common type of attack, and usually it leads to something bigger. But if you have experienced something like suspicious login, that's probably something that happened by you clicking on a phishing link, on getting through a phishing email, and maybe exposing your credentials.
So it looks like, I think nobody said no. So everybody kind of has seen some kind of impact there. Yeah.
We're gonna move on and talk about cyber insurance. And this is something that is very essential, especially now. And it helps you cover a lot of things like the cost of breach, digital forensics, client notification, as well as that it boosts your client trust by showing that you're staying proactive. You have to choose a policy that covers third-party claims and also regulatory fines.
Fines and penalties, yeah. I
Yeah.
know we've seen that. I know in the other earlier programs that you did, Misha, number 1 and 2, we talked about some of those lawsuits, and
Yeah.
I mean, those are big numbers, right? In the millions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in huge millions.
So that cyber liability policy, which I would, everybody ought to check out. It's probably not part of your E&O, but it's really important.
Yeah, when choosing the policy, make sure that it covers third-party liabilities, business interruptions, and data restorations. It also is important to check for your coverage with the regulatory fines and legal defense costs, as well as that you have to make sure that you are aware of the coverage because some policies might not cover certain things or some type of violations or disruptions. So don't assume that you're protected. Just verify every detail before you are picking a policy. I think Chris had something to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I know we did our own review, and I think it didn't cover maybe as much as we thought it did, and so it was a little bit of a surprise to you. So I would encourage you, if you're a business owner, I mean, this is like having business insurance, so it's really something you need to take a look at. Not sure, I mean, you can always give us a call and help you out there. But yeah, cyber liability, because it's just expensive. If you have a problem and you need protection, you don't want to have to, wonder whether or not you have coverage.
Here's another quick question for you. What's the most important feature you're looking for when choosing a cyber liability insurance?
So there could be a lot of things that it could or could not cover. I know business disruption is obviously a big one. Imagine your system's encrypted, or you just can't operate at all, or how do you notify the clients? What do you have to jump through? All the state requirements, and just what are the factors that go into it? So it's like a bunch of people here. How do you handle the client notification? Legal is a big one. It looks like most people are checking that one. And that's probably right, because the fines and penalties can be very significant. I know.
Yeah.
Depends on the state that you're in. Some have notice requirements in the first 72 hours or you're in violation. So, you need to have an expert that can help you. And that's why having the right policy can really protect you.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Chris. Let's move on and talk about something that can help you stay protected. And as you can see, software like McAfee, Norton, or Bitdefender, those are antivirus and anti-malware softwares that help you keep your systems protected and stop the threats. They also remove them from your system as long as you have it implemented. And then you can see firewalls like pfSense, Cisco SA, or Fortinet. Those can prevent the attacks from entering your system or even stop the intrusion completely. Here we can see the softs like Splunk or password manager like NordPass. Those help you get the full overview of your system in real time. For example, Splunk or Microsoft Sentinel, they grant you an access and you can see fully what is happening in your system, all the suspicious activity, all the patches, if you have anything that needs to be updated, or maybe you don't use something or it looks a little bit like it might cause harm. It helps you remove and navigate through that. NordPass, Keeper, LastPass, those are password managers. They help you keep secured and really strong password throughout all of your systems. It doesn't have to be the same one. They keep it for you. You don't have to memorize anything. You just have it, and then you enter your account details to help you find the right password. Here are some best practices. You got to make sure that even if you have the tools, you're using them properly. You got to regularly update your systems. Don't forget to enable real-time threat monitoring. Also, you have to audit all of your systems because it is important to know what is happening time to time. Just check if you have any unpatched vulnerabilities or maybe some updates that should have been done. Those little habits make a big difference when it comes to security, and it also will show regulators that you're staying proactive and serious about protection. For example, there's a breach in 2017 that happened to Equifax, and it's a big company, and you would think that they would stay protected, but they had all the tools in place, they had the policies, but what happened is that they lacked urgency. They had an unpatched vulnerability for a couple of weeks, and that allowed threat actors to gain access to their systems, and they had, I think, 15,000 systems were shut down completely, and it affected 147 million people, which is, just to compare, is 43% of US population. That's a huge number. And it's not something that couldn't have been stopped. It was just a human factor that lacked urgency. There probably some policy compliance, not even compliance. They had everything in place. They were just not taking it very serious.
Yeah, those security patches, which I know, fortunately, we have a third-party firm and work smart people like Misha here to help make sure that we're doing all this right. A lot of the small independent agents, if you're a one-person shop or a small agency, try to get help. And there's some best practices there because it's not just buy the computer, everything's good. It's also making sure you're doing the security patches, you're doing the next generation of protection.
Yeah. And here's another question for you guys. How do you currently handle software and security updates in your agency setup, or maybe just your home office setup?
Yeah, so this is a good one. I mean, the software updates, which a lot of times they're security patches, best practices, these come straight from what these the companies that identify the risks and vulnerabilities and the threat actors that are getting in there and breaking the systems. Those patches are designed to help do that. So it looks like there's a fair amount of you doing the automatically with scheduled. That's good. There's a number of people less that are saying they maybe do it manually. Some of them don't know anything about that. That's okay. Not surprised. But yeah, it looks like the blend. So there's a mix there. That's one where if you're not enabled to do that, then you should definitely do that. And then probably take a look at yourself on a periodic basis, whether it's annually, do I have everything in place? And if you're not sure, go get help would be the takeaway.
And here's what you can use to get some help. Some of the resources that are provided for you. For example, the cybersecurity framework NIST. It's a free. You have a free access to that. You can also get a certification for that if you're really interested. But they provide you with guidelines on how to build a proper cybersecurity program or how to keep your system secured. They have multiple guidelines. I'm pretty sure for every single problem you can come up with in the cybersecurity world, and they have certain steps that will guide you through and help you stay protected. HIPAA compliance checklist, it only applies if you deal with the medical records or health data. Then GLBA and NIIC is for financial and insurance data. Those are some great tools that will help you to build your security policies around and your system quite protected. I know that Chris could walk you through some of our legal stuff more.
Yeah, so that last one there, Misha, is the NAIC, National Association of Insurance Commissioners. So people in this webinar, insurance agents, you're subject to that. Insurance carriers are, we are as well. So you have to jump through all those hoops. In some cases, you might have to jump through like New York special rules and that, so forth. The key there is the model law, which is in 26 states. You have to comply with if you're conducting business in there or you're located there. So make sure you understand what those requirements are. A lot of the best practices that we're talking about come straight from that, but keep in mind there could be additional things that you need to be doing depending upon your state. I know, for example, New York is much more robust.
Yeah.
If you're in California, you have special privacy laws, etc. It's kind of a nuanced thing, but the point is, like, you can't just go blindly because there's regulations in every state.
Yeah, make sure that you know regulations for your state and for the states that you work at. And as Chris mentioned, California, if you ever handle the information of a client in California, make sure that you comply with the CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. So you're legally protected as well, and you don't go across and mess up any laws.
Yeah, you don't want to California or anybody knock on your door about
Yeah.
what are your procedures. So it's another one. There's some special rules depending on the state.
And again, using a framework means more than just reading it. You have to train your team. You have to review your risks regularly, and make sure that you keep logs and documentations. In case of an audit happens, you're able to provide everything you need, all the information. And it's not just about compliance, it's about running a secure and credible business.
Yeah, and I know, just add in there on risk assessment. So that is a good one. In some states, it's required every year. I know that's something that we do. Misha and others have helped us with that. So it's a good way to kind of do a, I don't know, it's like go to the doctor every year to see how you're doing, get your blood drawn and check on your status. So, and things change too. I mean, I know the laws have changed somewhat, the regulations. And so that's a good way to do it. If you need help, we can direct you to it. I know New York's got a great, even if you're not in New York, but it's got a great form that we work off of to determine, what are those risks? How do you assess it? What do we need to do about it? So we can help you with that. If you have an interest, you can just reach out to us.
Yep. Again, as an independent agents, you guys are your own brand, and you got to make sure that you educate your clients as well. You got to teach them how to communicate with you securely, teach them how to encrypt their emails or use a portal in case if they're sending some PHI through the email. Make sure that they know how to encrypt it, because it will protect both of you, your system, and them as well. Teach them how to avoid phishing and fraud, and again, provide some clear guidance on how to safely communicate and interact with you so they feel safe doing it. And I know that we have a guide with some best practices that Chris could tell you more about.
So we have, you see there on the slide deck there, a sample of what that looks like. I mean, this is something you can literally take to point of sale. If you like to brand it with your identity, we can help you with that as well. These are straight from some of the leading resources, whether it's AARP or some of the other states. These are all really good things that you should be doing, but I think there's a real value add if you can go to your client and say, hey, look, I'm here in the business of protecting and growing your wealth and your retirement plan, right? But I want to make sure you keep it. And one of the ways that we make sure that we keep it is that we don't have fraud people coming in and taking your money. And so these are some great best practices. Again, these come from leading sources that would recommend these things like MFA and passwords and so forth. I think it just makes you a more valuable advisor and agent if you're providing, some really practical things that aren't really intrusive that much, but they're going to protect that client. So they're going to trust you. They're going to call you next time they have a concern about anything with regard to their money.
Yeah, and then on this note, we have another question. Which cybersecurity tip do you most often share with your clients?
So yeah, another poll question here, and you may not be doing any of this, that's okay. But, if there's conversations you're having about, I'm sure they might ask you like, boy, I saw a phishing thing, or I didn't know, I got a text, I got a phone call. Was this legitimate? My guess is some people are calling you as the advisor agent because they're not sure who to trust. And so it looks like some of you are saying, secure documents. That's a good one, because a lot of you think of all the documents that are out there, whether it's encrypted, how do I get that information to you? How do you verify if the communication is legit? That's another one. It looks like people are checking. And then general education on cybersecurity, which is a bit of what we're doing today. And again, I'd encourage you, take these tools. These are really, this is like a 2-page simple form. You want to brand it, that's fine with your identity. I think that's great. And it's just going to make you more valuable. You bundle that with what we'll talk about with TransUnion, and to offer a 68% discount off their price, one of the biggest CRAs in the world. I think that's a great, solution for your clients. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. And again, some of you said that you don't currently educate your clients, and that's okay. I think our guide would be really helpful for you, because as well as your clients, you can also use it. And then it is much easier when you have it visible right here in your hand, and you can walk through, explain to them. It shows that you care, it shows that you're proactive. It will definitely boost your reputation and their confidence in doing business with you. Again, I am here to support you, and if you ever need an advice, or whether you need to use certain tools or not, or access to resources like our offer with TransUnion in credit monitoring, you can always reach out to us. We're ready. We're here to help you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a piece here that's a Q&A for you, financial professionals, and that would be an easy thing. We'll send that out to you. Encourage you to review that. It's an easy read. They're really simple, practical things that you can do to protect yourself. And then you have the client piece, which, again, I would encourage you to use that. I don't know many financial professionals even talking about this, ironically, because it's such a massive problem. Is, what's a threat, what's not, how do you protect yourself? And so these are some really great things that you can take to your client, and continue to build that trust and confidence that you have with your clients.
Yes, and again, with our offer, we have a bundle of videos that educate you on what it does for you, why is it important to use, why is it so beneficial, as well as that we have a lot of information that you can read through and learn every single detail about what comes with the offer and the discount. As well as that, I want to remind you, Chris, that we actually have 15 extra more features coming with the offer than a usual TransUnion credit monitoring you can get. And if you have anything to say.
Yeah, so TransUnion, a huge name in the industry, know them from credit reporting agency, credit scores and all that. A lot of people, what we found, agents and their clients haven't signed up for credit monitoring. So what is that? Well, it's checking to see if there's any weird credit that's been applied for. It also can help deter identity theft. So you can put down your information, your personal information, like your credit cards and other identities, imagine your driver's license, things that can get stolen, unfortunately get stolen this day and age. And TransUnion is one of the most trusted firms in the world. So we were able to work directly with them because we're a large national agency, work with thousands of agents, and offer you essentially a custom program that's a 68% discount if you even went to the kind of the rack rate direct. And it offers, as Misha mentioned, even more than what the standard practice is. There is like a business version of it. We'll get you that information. So if you want something for your entire family, or if you want it for a business, so you can take advantage of some of those additional tools, which I think would be a really good idea if you're a business owner, and especially if you had other employees, so that you're protecting them. I know we talked in the other webinar programs of CyberSense of, if you do have staff or agents beneath you, they're part of who you are. Your brand and reputation is their reflection of it. So you really need to take care of them and think about training and protections for them. So you might want to look at the TransUnion offer, which is just a little bit more to take care of other people in your family or your agency, other agency you might work with. But that's a great opportunity. We're pleased to work with TransUnion. That we'll have a co-branded site coming out soon. But there's a great showcase of what does this mean in practice, videos, and ease of getting set up.
Yeah, and again, as Chris mentioned, whether you're working by yourself or in agency, it first comes from you, from the leadership. IAMS is staying protected, and we are staying on top of the cybersecurity world because Chris, and he is my boss, he's staying proactive. He is constantly self-educating himself on new threats that are coming out, constantly making sure that all of our systems are patched, that we are following the policies that we've created. And again, remember to use this entire mix of insurance, softwares, frameworks, and client education to help you build a secure defense, a powerful defense. Stay informed, stay protected. Remember that you're not alone, and we're always happy to be there for you.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. If you, again, had a chance to dial in for the other two programs, you'd find, this is a great way to get educated, understand what you can do, best practices. You got some practical tools that you can take away for yourself, some answers to questions. You also have client tools. You have things. The TransUnion is a great thing. Credit monitoring. You talk to them about, maybe put a credit freeze as needed. And then some of the just practical things that Misha shared about software security, what to be on the lookout for. We as an organization, we count on you. We only win when you win. And so in order for you to win, we need you to be successful. That's why we have this whole advocacy program, which is designed to make sure that you're protecting your business. So we're going to help you build it, but we need you to protect it too. So I know this is a great program. Thanks, Misha, for all three parts. And I just kind of throw one at you here, Misha. I know you're kind of a strong guy, younger than me, you got muscles and everything, right? I'm kind of old. So I wanted to see, who's stronger. So I'm going to see if we could just do an arm wrestling challenge here real quick.
Okay.
And, is the old man as strong as he thinks he is? Ready, go. No, he's not. So
actually,
clearly I'm going to rely on it.
Me win. You just let me win, Chris.
I'm going to rely on a stronger cybersecurity expert than me because I don't know a whole lot. And Misha won the battle today. So thanks all for joining us.
Thank you, guys.